One tree. It purifies water. It outperforms every vitamin supplement on the shelf. Its oil matches olive oil molecule for molecule. It grows 15 feet in a single year, in soil that rejects everything else. 4 civilizations gave it 4 names. One empire made sure you forgot all of them. But first, one truth. A tree that creates no dependency has no place in a system built on dependency. That is not a conspiracy. That is accounting. The archive opens in northern India. The season is wet. The year, uncertain. Perhaps 2,000 years before the Common Era, a healer crushes pale green leaves between 2 stones. The paste stops a fever before nightfall. She does not call it medicine. She calls it what the Sanskrit texts will later record. Shigru, the swift one. Not for how it grows, for how quickly it heals. This is the forensic investigation of a tree that 4 civilizations named, 1 industry defunded, and your backyard can grow. The first name was Sanskrit. The second was sealed in a pharaoh's tomb. Karaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, the foundational texts of Ayurvedic medicine. Both list Shigru, anti-inflammatory, digestive, treatment for 300 conditions. The modern pharmacist lists 0. In ancient Egypt, they pressed oil from moringa seeds and called it ben. They sealed it in vessels placed beside the dead, provisions for a journey beyond death. The oil they called ben became the base of sacred perfumes. It outlasted the dynasty that made it. In Senegal, they call it Nébéday. It means the tree that never dies. Not because they wished it so, because they watched it survive the Sahel, the drought, the dust, the dying of every other green thing. Moringa remained. It became the tree of the hungry season. In the Philippines, they call it Malunggay, the mother's tree. After birth, the women eat the leaves. The milk comes stronger. The government promoted it as a national food. And still, the rest of the world had never heard the name. 4 civilizations, 4 names, 1 tree. If you're beginning to see that something this useful does not become invisible by accident, you are beginning to read the archive. The science does not require belief. It requires a seed and a bucket of water. Moringa seeds contain a protein that acts as a natural coagulant. Drop crushed seeds into contaminated water. In 20 minutes, the protein binds to bacteria and sediment, pulls them to the bottom. 90 to 99% removal. No filter, no chemical. A seed. Dried moringa leaves, gram for gram, contains 7 times the vitamin C of oranges, 4 times the calcium of milk. The qualification matters. Dried, powdered, concentrated, not fresh. The distinction is the honesty the wellness industry skips. The oil. 65 to 75% oleic acid. Comparable to olive oil, but from a tree that grows where olives refuse. 15 feet in a single year, in tropical soil. A complete survival system. Water, nutrition, oil, shade from 1 species. The science runs deeper, and the stories run deeper still. The World Health Organization recognized Moringa's water purification capacity in 2007. 3 billion people on this planet lack access to clean water. This tree purifies it for free. The protein in the seed does what municipal treatment plants do with aluminum sulfate, except the seed grows back. In a village outside Lagos, a grandmother adds moringa leaves to every pot of soup. She does not call it a superfood. She calls it what her mother called it, the only green that never fails. 4 generations. No supplements purchased, no label read. Moringa does not fix nitrogen like a legume. What it does is cycle nutrients from deep soil layers to the surface through its taproot, and its fallen leaves decompose into some of the richest mulch in the tropics. The distinction matters. The science is not smaller for being precise, it is larger. A farmer in East Africa plants moringa as fence posts. They take root. Within a year, his fence is feeding his family. He did not learn this from a textbook. He learned it from a neighbor, who learned it from a father, who learned it from the land. Nature designed this tree the way an engineer designs a survival kit. Water purification, complete nutrition, structural oil, soil improvement, shade in drought, green in famine. One species, every function. So why didn't you know? Before we follow the money, a distinction. What we can verify, WHO endorsement. USDA nutrient data. Peer-reviewed water purification studies, documented, reproducible. What we can infer, industry incentive structure, research funding patterns. The records show a pattern, not a plot, a pattern. That is enough to ask a dangerous question. The question begins with oil, not moringa oil, petroleum, Standard Oil, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Green Revolution. 3 names, 1 pipeline. The same family that monopolized petroleum funded the agricultural revolution that replaced diverse crops with monocultures dependent on petroleum-based fertilizer. The connection is not hidden. It is published. It sits in foundation records and agricultural policy archives. Rudolf Diesel vanished from a ship in 1913. His engine ran on plant oil. The petroleum industry had a timeline problem. The rest is documented. 6 words. Create dependency, extract wealth, repeat. The Green Revolution did not target moringa. It did something more effective. It made moringa irrelevant. When the metric became yield per acre of a single grain, a multi-purpose tree had no place in the spreadsheet. No research funding, no extension programs, no subsidies. Moringa was not banned. It was defunded. The suppression was not a memo. It was a budget line. And then, the second erasure. Moringa powder at a health food store, $22 per pound. The same leaf, dried by a women's cooperative in Senegal, less than $1. The shipping costs $3. The difference is not logistics. It is branding. First, they suppressed it to sell fertilizer. Now they market it to sell powder. The tree didn't change. The business model did. You cannot monopolize a tree, but you can monopolize the story of a tree, unless someone opens the archive. But the tree did not wait for permission to survive. In Tamil Nadu, a family has grown moringa in their backyard for 4 generations. They call it drumstick tree. They have never purchased vitamin supplements. The knowledge did not come from a label. It came from a grandmother who came from a grandmother who planted the first cutting. The tree survived empires, revolutions, and defunding. It survived because people like this kept planting it. Not because an institution told them to, because a grandmother showed them how. Now it's your turn. And unlike most archive entries, this one comes with a growing guide. Your climate determines your path. Zone 9 B through 11. Moringa is a perennial, planted outdoors. Expect your first harvest in 60 days. In the right conditions, 1 tree produces for 20 years. Zone 8 to 9A. Moringa is a perennial with conditions. It dies back in winter. Cut it before frost. Mulch the roots heavy, straw, leaves, whatever you have. It resprouts in spring, most years. Zone 7 and below. Moringa is a summer annual, or a container tree. Both work. Neither is a compromise. Drop your zone in the comments. The archive will tell you which path. Frost honesty. Moringa foliage dies at 35 degrees. Stems die at sustained 32. This is not a cold climate perennial. The archive does not lie about limitations. A 20-gallon container, full sun, well-drained potting mix, 1 moringa seed. In 60 days, you have harvestable leaves. In 90 days, you are producing more vitamin A per square foot than any vegetable in your garden. Bring it indoors before the first frost. The tree forgives neglect. It does not forgive ice. In Zone 7, moringa is a summer annual. Plant after last frost, soil temperature above 70 degrees. Harvest leaves every 2 to 3 weeks from June through October. Dry what you cannot eat fresh. One tree produces more nutrition in 5 months than a season of lettuce. Seeds. Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds carries Moringa oleifera. So does Echo Seed Bank and Strictly Medicinal Seeds. If your moringa flowers before frost, let 1 pod mature. Each pod contains 10 to 25 seeds. Each seed is a library. Each library is free. Moringa does not fix nitrogen. It cycles it. The distinction matters, not a miracle. Chemistry. Documented, measurable, reproducible chemistry. The leaf is food. The seed in excess is not. The bark contains compounds that can cause contractions. The old healers knew the difference between leaf and seed. So should you. That is the protocol. Seed to harvest. Zone to container. Science to soil. What remains is the question of what you do with it. It was called Shigru. It was called Nébéday. It was called Ben. It was called Malunggay. It was filed as a commodity. It was erased from curricula. It was defunded from research stations. It waited. In the villages, in the backyards, in the hands of grandmothers who never stopped planting. You are not watching a documentary. You are receiving a seed bank. The knowledge in this archive is viable. It germinates in any climate where someone is willing to plant it. Every moringa tree you grow is a library branch. Every leaf you harvest is a page they tried to remove. If you have grown moringa, in the ground, in a container, in a climate it was not supposed to survive, the archive needs your testimony. Leave it below. Tell us what zone. Tell us what happened. The archive grows from the roots up. The archive closes, but the seeds remain viable for years without refrigeration. They purify water without chemicals. They grow in soil that rejects everything else. 4 civilizations gave this tree 4 names. One system made it invisible. But you cannot erase a tree that refuses to die. Solutions existed before problems became profitable. The grandmother knew. Now you know. If knowledge like this should not be defunded again, the archive continues at the Green Archive.